Ever feel like everyone and their cousin is talking about AI, but no one's actually telling you how to use it, like practically, in your business?
All hype.
Yeah. So today, we're going to try to cut through all that, right? We're diving into this conversation between entrepreneur Liam Otley and business expert Alex Hormozy.
Yeah.
They had some really interesting points that I think are going to help you build a real sustainable business around AI, which is what we're all after.
Yeah, and you know what I think is so cool about Liam's story is he's living proof
Yeah,
that you don't need to be like a tech genius to figure this whole thing out.
right.
He started in marketing, saw AI was going to be big, and just kind of went from there, step by step. He built this whole YouTube channel to share his knowledge, built a crazy successful AI company, and now he's all about teaching others how to do the same thing with these AI automation agencies, which we'll get into, but that's later.
Okay, yeah, let's unpack that a little bit. AI automation agencies, it sounds kind of, like a buzzword, right?
Yeah.
But what you just said about, not needing to be a tech whiz, I think that's something that Alex really emphasizes too, A lot of these AI ventures, they just totally forget about the fundamentals of business, and that's why they fail.
It's like Liam said in the interview. He was like, AI is great for like YouTube clickbait, but for sales, it's irrelevant.
Yeah, yeah.
And it's a great like sound bite, but it makes you think, right? You got to sell what it does, not the tech itself. Like imagine saying to some restaurant owner, hey, I can use AI to automate your membership dues collection.
Right.
But then imagine saying, I can make sure you get paid on time, every time, and it's going to be way less of a headache for you. It's the same thing, but way different.
Totally, night and day. But even when you know how to sell it, how do you even know what to build in the first place, right?
That's the million-dollar question.
I mean,
And Alex really believes in finding your niche. Like, that's his thing. And that's where everything you already know and all your experiences, that's what's going to set you apart. He actually says suffering and living through a problem. Like having that firsthand experience is where those golden nuggets come from.
and he uses the example of like, someone who's worked as a waiter, right?
Yeah.
They're going to know way more about what a restaurant needs than someone who's like never even worked in a restaurant.
100%.
Yeah.
It's all about connecting those dots. You know this industry, you've seen the problems, and you can tell, okay, AI could actually solve this. And then to figure out which problem to solve first, Alex has this super simple formula. How much value can you create times how easy is it to actually do it?
So like how many people have the problem and how much will they pay to have it solved?
Exactly. And then you got to weigh that against how hard it is to build the solution and actually get it out there. You want a sweet spot where it's actually doable, but also going to make a splash.
Yeah.
And here's the thing about building these AI solutions, especially if you're not like a coding wizard yourself, you're probably going to need a partner.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And that's where finding the right people, that can make or break you.
Totally. I remember Liam asked Alex about this whole like finding a tech co-founder thing.
Oh, yeah. What did he say?
And it was a really interesting point. He was like, look, if you're in the service industry, especially, having a solid tech team, that's everything.
Makes sense.
He even said something like the best way to make someone feel like an owner is for them to actually be an owner.
Oh, interesting.
Like giving them equity in the company, particularly that lead tech person,
Submard.
that can be huge. Because then it's not just a job.
Right. It's their baby, too.
Exactly. You're building something together, you're sharing the success. And Liam actually mentioned that, once you've got that really strong development side of things in place, it can open up so many more doors.
Oh, I bet.
Even beyond just, starting with the agency model. It lets you think bigger long term.
Yeah. Play the long game.
Exactly. And this is actually a good segue into another thing that Alex talked about, which I thought was so key. And that's the difference between being a generalist versus having a niche.
Oh, that's huge. I feel like so many people struggle with that.
Oh, it's such a trap.
Yeah.
Because it's like you want to be able to help everyone, right?
Right. You want to say yes to every project,
But when you try to be everything to everyone.
you end up being nothing to no one.
Exactly. And it makes it so much harder to actually grow, to scale your business because you're spread so thin.
You're a jack of all trades, master of none. Right?
Exactly. And that's why that niche is so important because it lets you really go deep, become an expert, and streamline your whole operation.
So you can just crank out those results.
It's like that saying, the riches are in the niches.
100%.
Just think about it. Imagine you're trying to explain your business to someone.
Yeah.
It's way more powerful to be like, I help restaurants automate their inventory management and I'm the best in the world at it, than to be like, I can build you any AI thing you want.
For sure, for sure.
And speaking of, building things and problem solving, Liam actually brought up this really interesting point in the conversation. He asked Alex about, like, intentionally scheduling downtime for brainstorming.
Oh, it's interesting.
Have you ever noticed how sometimes your best ideas, they just kind of hit you when you're not even trying to think about work?
Oh, all the time, like in the
This
shower or something.
exactly, like shower thoughts that turn out to be brilliant.
Right.
Well, Liam was saying that they actually started scheduling this downtime into their week, and it led to some of their best ideas for their business.
Wow. So it actually worked.
Yeah. And it turns out Alex is a big believer in that too.
Oh, really? I wouldn't have pegged him for a downtime kind of guy.
Right. So I was curious, like, how do you actually put that into practice?
Yeah, how does he find the time?
He's all about maximizing what he calls, like, relaxed attention.
Relax attention. Okay.
So he's really strict about minimizing meetings. He tries to front load his day with, like, all the heavy lifting tasks.
Get that out of the way.
Exactly. And then that frees up space later in the day for more, just letting his mind wander.
It's like you got to be smart about how you work. Sometimes you just got to step back to see the bigger picture. So we've heard all this awesome stuff from Liam and Alex, right? How they built their businesses, the things they learned along the way.
Right.
But now it's like, okay, what are you going to do with all this?
Exactly. It's got to be more than just, oh, that was an interesting conversation.
Totally. What's that thing that's been bugging you, in your own world? Like, what problem at work or in your industry do you see and think, man, somebody's got to fix this?
Because it could be you, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
This deep dive, it could be that little nudge you needed to say, wait a minute, I could actually build that AI solution.
And hey, even if you're not like a tech person and you don't want to build it yourself, you can find someone who can.
Totally.
Like partner up with someone who has those skills, bring your vision to the table, and then they can bring it to life.
Exactly. And that's the thing, right? This whole AI opportunity, it's not just for Silicon Valley, it's everywhere.
It's true.
Any industry, any main street, you name it, it's out there. Just waiting for someone with a good idea and the hustle to make it happen.
So what's your AI story going to be?